In 1971, Alfa Romeo launched the Alfasud Sprint upon the opening of a new factory in Pomigliano d'Arco, located in the south of Italy. This new factory was chosen for its cheaper labor costs, but also to create more opportunity for people in the south to obtain a car from this more desirable brand, as Alfa Romeo had very little presence there due to the higher pricing of their cars that were made in the brand's Milano factory, in addition to the economic instability in the south. Therefore, in an attempt to broaden their accessibility in more parts of Italy, they had begun work on a new platform, one that would be affordable to produce but would still maintain the brand's signature higher standard of handling, in addition to their alluring styling. And through meticulous design of the chassis and drivetrain of this new boxer-engined front-wheel drive hatchback, in addition to a stylish design by the legendary Giorgetto Giugiaro, they managed to check off all their initial goals. The Alfasud ended up being a big success, not only in the south of Italy, but all over Europe, as it offered an amazing driving experience on a stylish body at a much more affordable price than any other Alfa Romeo of its time. However, being a small family hatchback, it failed to appeal to everybody, especially the younger generations, of whom preferred cars that had a more thrilling look and sporty character, such as the BMW E9, Peugeot 504 Coupe, even the Alfa Romeo Alfetta GT and GTV.
Alfetta GT Coupe by Alfa Romeo. April 76 Road and Track reported. It stops quicker than the leading luxury car from Sweden. Corners better than the famous $15,000 British car. Saves more fuel than the leading Japanese sports car. In fact, Alfetta rated better in all tests than the $16,000 German prestige car. Coupe and sedan. From Alfa Romeo, four-time world champion.
The Alfetta GTV and GT were sporty, stylish, and boasted a thrilling Giugiaro design. However, their more premium prices put them out of reach for many young buyers who often turned to more affordable alternatives, like the Ford Capri or Opel Manta. These cars offered a sporty driving experience at a lower cost, but for some, they couldn't quite match the allure of owning an Alfa Romeo. But by the mid-1970s, the Alfasud had still been the only model produced at the Pomigliano d'Arco factory since its debut in 1971. Alfa Romeo, already looking to expand their lineup, saw an opportunity to add a budget-friendly coupe to their production lineup. This model would complement the Alfasud by offering an accessible yet sporty alternative, leveraging the factory's affordable production capabilities. Alfa Romeo were aware of the Alfetta GTV and GT's appeal amongst younger audiences, who were usually unable to afford those cars. Therefore, this sporty Alfasud derivative would aim to capture that same appeal while keeping the front-wheel drive boxer engine drivetrain. This started by getting Giugiaro back, giving him the Alfasud platform, and a request to mimic the charm of the Alfetta GTV and GT while keeping the production cost of this design at a lower price. The Alfasud Sprint was finally launched, being first shown off at the 1976 Torino Motor Show, after much anticipation from the press in the south of Italy. It was sportier, it was affordable, but most of all, it looked cool. On the outside, it had a two-door coupe design that heavily mimicked the angular fastback look of the Alfetta GTV and GT, while keeping a lightweight body of just under 1,000 kilograms and a shorter length of just 4,000 millimeters. On the inside, it offered much more driver-focused seats than the regular Alfasud Sprint, with a much more sporty seating position, but still maintaining the rear seats for that added practicality, and a sporty gear knob that boasted about being 5-speed. So for the aesthetic design of the Alfasud Sprint, it had successfully achieved the sporty look that Alfa Romeo wanted for it. But when it came to the sporty driving experience, it took a little more time for Alfa Romeo to get this part of its design perfected. As upon its launch at the end of 1976, It was only offered with a 1.3-liter engine, and although this new variant of the Alfasud's boxer engine had a slightly higher displacement, offering a little over 10 horsepower more than the 1.2-liter variant before it, totaling at around 75 horsepower. The Sprint had a 0 to 100 time of a little over 14 seconds, along with a top speed of around 170 kilometers per hour, which were statistics that just weren't enough to be considered sporty. But this criticism wouldn't last long, as in 1978 the Alfasud Sprint got a new 1.5-liter engine variant added to its range. This engine reached an output of around 85 horsepower. However, it would not be until a year later in 1979 when the Alfasud Sprint range would acquire a model that would put it at the top of its class. This was the Alfasud Sprint Veloce. It kept the same 1.5-liter displacement, but through effective upgrades and some more performance-oriented parts, it now reached 95 horsepower, leading to a new 0 to 100 kilometers per hour time of just under 10.5 seconds. This was the highest trim for a long time, until in 1983 when Alfa Romeo launched the Alfasud Sprint Quadrifoglio Verde, another updated version of the 1.5 boxer engine. But this time it managed to push out an impressive 105 horsepower, and now did 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 9.6 seconds. This was around the same time that the Alfasud Berlina had ended production, meaning the Sprint was now the only remaining model with the Alfasud name. At this point in the mid-1980s, Alfa Romeo was facing its worst financial crisis since the aftermath of World War II. This meant that they had to balance out their funding very wisely, a decision that in turn made them leave the Alfasud Sprint lineup alone for the rest of the company's independent ownership. When Alfa Romeo went bankrupt in 1986, they were purchased by Fiat, who decided to cut many different models from the Alfa Romeo lineup during their first year of ownership. Cars like the Alfa 90, the Arna, and the Alfa 6. However, not only did they keep the Alfasud Sprint around, but they also put out one last variant. This was the new 1.7-liter Alfasud Sprint Quadrifoglio Verde, a highly impressive 116 horsepower range topper that could do 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in almost 9 seconds, along with a top speed of 196 kilometers per hour. Impressive statistics that highlight the true capabilities of the Alfasud wheelbase, and it was the perfect goodbye to the name as the Sprint ended production in 1989 after selling a decent 120,000 total units. Overall, the Alfa Romeo Alfasud Sprint was a standout in the entry-level sport coupe market. It offered a diverse range of sporty engines with an exterior design that always evolved to enhance its character further. It delivered a driving experience that showcased the handling capabilities of front-wheel drive cars and may be the best way to appreciate and truly experience the often overlooked Alfa Romeo boxer engine. Although the Sprint inherited some weaknesses from its Berlina parent, with the high potential for rust being a notable one, as time goes on and it becomes more of a collector's item, these issues can easily be looked past, and the Sprint can be appreciated for its true meaning, a small sports car with universal appeal. Its impact will be cemented within Italy's automotive history as a model that offered so much for so little.